Well, it's 9 o'clock, and so we're going to go ahead and get started this morning. A couple of things. Sadie has joined me today, and so you may hear an occasional squawk from her. She just wants to be part of the action. Before we get started, for those of you who may not be familiar with Grace, my name is Pam Smith, and I'm the pastor at Grace. I've been away for a few days and am trying to get back in the saddle again. Sadie, shh. I'm feeling much better. My voice is not 100% back, and there's a certain amount of fatigue and tiredness, but I'm glad to be able to be with you all this morning. I'm going to have to remove Sadie from our presence here. Bear with me a moment, please. Kahoot. So sorry. Thank you for your patience. So last week, as we met a couple of times only, we took a look at Tamar, who was the first woman who's identified in the genealogy of Jesus as it is recorded in the Gospel of Matthew. I would invite you to take a look at that genealogy and look at the many patterns that there are there. Look at the beginning and the end. See what the common themes are that you might find there in the beginning and the end. And then take a look at how that genealogy is divided. And from that, what can you deduce that was important to the writer of the genealogy? You may also want to compare that a little bit to the genealogy in Luke. They're very different in many respects. Today, though, we're taking a look at Rahab, who's the second woman who is identified in the genealogy. Rahab, the story of Rahab is recorded in the second chapter of Joshua, and also it is kind of finished as to Rahab towards the end of the sixth chapter of Joshua. So let's get a context for a moment. What we have is that the people of God have come to the Jordan River, and they are on the far side of the Jordan. They have not yet entered into the land of promise. Their leader Moses, through all those years in the wilderness, has died, and Joshua has taken up the mantle of leadership. Joshua is on a military mission to take the land, and before they begin their conquest, he sends some spies over into Jericho. So if we've got the Jordan River here, the people of God are on the far side, the eastern side of the river, getting ready to go into the land of promise, the land of Canaan, which is on the west side. And so Joshua sends the spies in so that they know what they're up against. Of course, the problem with being a spy is that one could be detected, and that is indeed a risk. And so it is that Rahab, who is the town prostitute, helps out these spies and hides them. I believe, on the roof of her building where there is straw and hay, and she tucks them in there to secure them so that they're not found. So a couple of things occur to me. One is that the spies are then let out down the city wall in a basket, and Rahab is told that she and her household will be spared during the conquest if she takes the red cord, a red like belt that the spies give her, and she hangs it from the doorway. And then that way the people who are conquering the land will know to leave this one unharmed. So what I'd like you to do later today is read that story in Joshua 2, and then go back and read the story of Moses. in the first part of Exodus. We'll see some common themes. We'll see that Moses, of course, was saved in a basket in the same way that the spies are saved in a basket. That Moses was saved through the action of a midwife, a woman, who attended to Moses' mother during the birth. And we'll also see then that the Joshua spies were tended to by a woman of no import, really. And then we have the sign over the door that is to be a sign to the conquerors to leave this one alone. Reminiscent, isn't it, of the night of the Passover, when the people were instructed to take the blood of the lamb and put it over the lintel of the doorway. So see these kinds of images together. So Rahab, like Tamar, was a woman on the margins. A woman, though, who was used by God. So I'd like to read this from the book that we're following. I'm on page 25 if you have the book. The story of Rahab is found in Joshua 2, as we've talked about. Moment. Rahab was a Canaanite sex worker, a prostitute, and she helps the spies whose mission will result in the takeover of her people's land. Faced with the inevitable, she sees a way to at least save her own kin and herself. She was resourceful, a woman alert to the political climate, and astute enough to choose her own path. She was also a woman who knew her worth and extracted a price for her help. So we read these words from the second chapter of Joshua. Then Joshua, who was the son of Nun, sent 2 men secretly as spies, saying, "Go view the land, especially Jericho." So they went and entered the house of a prostitute whose name was Rahab, and they spent the night there. The king of Jericho was told, "Some Israelites have come here tonight to search out the land." Then the king of Jericho sent orders to Rahab, "Bring out the men who have come to you, who entered your house, for they have come only to search out the whole land." But the woman took the 2 men and hid them. Then she said, "True, the men came to me, but I did not know where they came from. And when it was time to close the city gate at dark, the men went out. Where they went, I do not know. Pursue them quickly, for you can still overtake them." However, Rahab had brought them up to the roof and hidden them with the stalks of flax that she had laid out on the roof. So the men pursued them on the way to the Jordan as far as the fords. As soon as the pursuers had gone, the gate was shut, and the 2 men